A musician who has lost his passion for music is transported out of his body and must find his way back with the help of an infant soul learning about herself. Hey, how's it going, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. I am here today to give you all my early spoiler-free review for the new Disney Plus Pixar original film, Soul. I am so excited to let you all know what I thought about this movie, and if you should be excited for it when it comes available on Disney Plus on December 25th. Before we dive into this spoiler-free review, as you can see on the screen now, make sure you all are following me on all my other social media accounts. That way you can stay up to date on what's going on over here at Movie Files. If you are new to the channel, welcome to the community. Consider subscribing to the channel, and while you're at it, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my other early movie reviews, TV coverage, live streams, and all the fun things we do on this very channel. It would mean a lot to me if you all can give this video a thumbs up. It helps out the channel, but I also really appreciate it. And in the comments below, let me know if you were excited for Soul, and once you've seen it, let me know your pros, your cons. Is this one of your top tier Pixar films, or is it kind of right in the middle? Let me know your thoughts on that, and also share with me your top 5 Pixar movies. Let's have a discussion about that as well in the comments below. So Soul was my most anticipated, one of my most anticipated films this year, as well as my most anticipated Pixar film. Now, we were supposed to get 3 originals. We got Onward. You can see my review for that. We're now talking about Soul. We got a film that was pushed back next year, but this one, man, unfortunately wasn't able to hit the theaters with all the stuff going on in the world, but luckily Disney Plus has this platform that it can share it with its audience, and I am here to let you all know if it is one of the more top tier movies and if it's worth checking out come this holiday season on December 25th. So let's kick things off with the positives. Starting off with what I want to point out was this direction that Pixar is headed. So taking a look back at the last decade from Pixar, we've had a total of 12 films that have come out, including the most recently released film with Onward earlier this year. And out of those 12 films, we've had 7 sequels. Now, I've had my fun with those sequels, but I'm not going to lie, it is extremely refreshing to see more original content from Pixar. But not only originality, but this inclusion, having other cultures being represented on screen is so important. We'll definitely talk about that a little bit later in this review. But I love this new direction they're heading into, which, speaking of the direction, I want to definitely highlight the directors of this film, Pete Docter and Kemp Powers. Something you'll notice with a lot of Pixar films, especially in the last decade or so, is they tend to have their veteran directors that have worked on previous projects partner up with newcomers, and I kind of like that collaboration because it kind of brings you that familiar thing that you love about Pixar films, but then they bring in this kind of fresh take, especially when it comes to films like Soul, which has a black protagonist. When it comes to films like Coco, I love that they're bringing in these people that have come from those cultures to kind of make that authenticity feel more true and authentic to the story, which kind of brings me into the co-director, one of the co-directors of the film, Kemp Powers, who's making his directorial debut. You can definitely feel Kemp's presence and experience as a black man within this script, which he co-wrote, as well as the direction in this movie, whether it be the conversations had in the barbershop scene or hearing Erykah Badu playing in the background of Joe's mother's sewing shop. I am so excited to see Kemp as a writer in Hollywood for just future films, whether it be live action or more collaborations with Pixar, because I love his kind of authenticity within the black kind of community, and as well as just hearing his voice as a black man. So I'm really excited to see what he does next. So transitioning to the other co-director within this movie, and that is Pete Docter, who's become one of, if not my favorite director within Pixar Studios. I mean, we're talking Monsters, Inc., Up, Inside Out, and you can now add Soul to that list. I love how Pete Docter has become like the Christopher Nolan of Pixar films because he dives deeper into the psyche of his characters. And I just love how he's telling these type of stories about appreciating life, but also life after death, right? Within this film, where do you go after you die? Where is your soul go? So I love how he's kind of really complex and tells these mature type of stories, but at the same time making it accessible to kids, which I thought that the balance between these two directors of bringing in that authenticity, whether it be Kemp Powers' life as a black man and also telling this beautiful story, and then bringing in the things that we've seen from Pete Docter's films before. I thought that their collaboration, their teaming together was really well done, because I really do think the balancing between this film was really, really well done. Again, whether it be the animated style that can be accessible to kids and the funny jokes that kids can relate to, but then transitioning to the more mature jokes and the more mature messages and themes within this film for the adult audience to really attach to. I thought they did a great job of doing that within this film, which brings me to my next point, which is highlighting the story without getting into the spoilers. I found the story to be extremely powerful and a much needed story, especially in the times that we're living in, dealing with the current state of the world and thinking about the things of life, such as what's really important in life. And seeing our main character, played by Jamie Foxx, Joe, a middle-aged black man teaching middle school band, and him not being in the position that he hoped to have been in at this point in his life, life and his love for music, kind of losing that passion and thinking about what his life has been all about thus far. And I mean, seriously, thinking about that plot alone is so relatable, right? I think we've all been in a particular part in our lives where we're just not content with where we are. We want more from our lives, right? And then that's where Tina Fey as the character 22 comes into the mix, where she is just young infant soul who doesn't have the spark in life, and she's looking for that within this film. And just seeing her appreciation for literally all the little things in life, whether it be talking, walking, eating, and seeing Joe being able to observe that and see like, man, it's not about music. It's not about what position of power I have. It's not about money. It's about happiness, right? And finding the little things in life to be happy about. So switching gears into the performances and the characters and the voice acting, which I thought was fantastic in this movie, highlighting our two main leads, starting off with Jamie Foxx's Joe, which I do want to point out again that this is the first black protagonist of any Pixar film, which goes back to my conversation I had a little bit about earlier about the direction that I'm really loving that Pixar is heading into and regarding to having inclusion and talking about more cultures. It was such a great thing to see a black man in a Pixar film highlighting and leading the movie. And I thought Jamie Foxx was great as Joe. Him in the jazz sequences, his love for music, the conversations he had with his mother, the barbershop sequences, but also more importantly, his mentorship and his friendship that he develops with Tina Fey character by the name of 22. Now, 22 is a soul trapped in a great before with a dim view on life, and seeing her kind of having this kind of fish out of water approach when she comes to Earth without getting into the details. I really enjoyed her journey, her dim view on life, and her never being able to find that spark in life. But again, having her kind of relationship with Joe and kind of their journey of self-discovery, having this coming of age of her own. I really enjoyed their chemistry and enjoyed their story as a whole. But there was also some other great supporting characters. I think of Moonwind. Again, I think of Joe's mother, Terry, and I can't forget about the Jerrys on The Great Before. I enjoyed the characters, I enjoyed their stories, and I thought the voice acting was fantastic. So backtracking just a little bit, because again, I don't want to brush over the fact that this is the first Pixar-led film by a black protagonist. Again, it is so important to have these movies of diversity, inclusion, cultures, different cultures being represented, like Coco, like this film, like the films we're getting that's slated in the future, like Luca. I'm really excited for this new direction that Pixar is heading into, because again, growing up as a kid, I grew up with all these Pixar films and I love them to death, but it is so cool to be able to see a black man as a lead in a film, and I'm so excited to see more cultures, more inclusion, more diversity within the studio, because I think it's one of the best, if not the best, animated studio. So I love this new direction they're heading into, which brings me to one of my other points I want to bring out, which is the animation and the visuals within this film. So getting into the details about the animation style, yet again, Pixar just impresses me with groundbreaking new animation design, as the filmmakers describe the animation of the souls featured in this movie as vaporous and inferior and non-physical way, having based their designs on definitions about souls given to them by various religious and cultural representatives, which I thought was just so beautifully done. And I have to highlight The Great Before, which is the world that the personalities and the souls go to after they have passed and once they're given to people on Earth. It reminded me of Interstellar meets the Doctor Strange film. The visuals, the lighting techniques, the actual world building was so fascinating. I could spend an entire movie within this Great Before, and who knows what the future of this film has with Disney Plus. I would love to see a spinoff with more Jerry characters mentoring these souls. So I love the world building. I love the visual techniques. I love the actual design of these characters, and the visuals again of Interstellar meets Doctor Strange to me is a match made in heaven. And lastly, on my positives, I have to mention the incredible music throughout this film, which I have to say it, yeah, this might be a little cheesy, but the music incorporated in this film gives this movie the most soul of any movie I've seen from Pixar. So Jon Batiste was responsible for writing the incredible jazz music found within this film, and Batiste is quoted for saying that he wanted to create jazz music that felt authentic but also accessible to all ages, and I think he did a great job of doing that. The jazz is incredible. I'm not the biggest jazz listener, but I appreciate great music, and this film has incredible music. I think of the sequences where Joe is playing the piano, he's in the zone, which was visually stunning, but I love the jazz incorporated in this film, but I also love the score and the composers that are in this film, and I want to highlight these two guys because I'm a big fan of their work, and that is Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, who brought the techno vibes within The Great Before, and the blending of those two worlds. Again, the score, the soundtrack of this film was one of, if not the best of Pixar. I love it so much. So those are all of my positives, which now transitioning over to some of the criticisms that I have for the film Soul. So when it comes to the criticism of this movie, and I would love to know this from the adults that show their kids this film, I wonder if some of the more mature themes and messages within this film will go over kids' heads. There's literally a section in this film that really kind of highlights living life and having lived life, right? And not that kids don't have their ups and downs, but there's moments that us adults go through, whether it be relationships, whether it be jobs, whether it be position of power, that we're just not content and being happy with the little things in life, which I think everyone can relate to. But I think there are some themes that might not resonate with the younger audience. So I would love to know from those parents out there, again, where your kids may be bored by some of the themes, they maybe didn't resonate with some of the themes. I would love to know your thoughts on that. And then also, this is kind of a minor thing, but it's not that every Pixar film has to make me cry. Like I've seen, I've cried in Coco, I've cried in some of the other films like Toy Story franchise, but when it came to the most emotional climactic part in the film, it didn't really connect with me in regards to the emotional impact that I think the film was intending for me to have. It just didn't really connect with me there. And then this is my last thing. This really isn't like a criticism, but I really do wish this film would have had a theatrical release, because I think that the score, the jazz music would have been so great to hear in a surround sound in a theatrical experience, as well as the incredible visuals. So again, I know it's not the film's fault for the current position that we're in, but I really do wish that this film did have a theatrical run, because I think the visuals, the score would have been perfect to see on an IMAX screen. So those are some of my minor criticisms that I have with the movie. So before I give you all my overall score and if this film is worth checking out, come December 25th on Disney+, make sure if you haven't already to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to share this video, leave your thoughts in the comments below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you don't miss any of my other content. With that being out of the way, let me give you all my overall thoughts and score for the film Soul. So overall, when it comes to Pixar Soul, I definitely think this is top 5 quality, top tier quality of Pixar to me, and has to be the most soul of any Pixar film to date. From the voice acting, the incredible visuals, the amazing score, and the amazing music within this film was incredibly impressive. The film's message of valuing all the little moments in life and not wasting your time doing something that doesn't make you happy. This is the perfect film to come out in today's climate, and the perfect holiday film to watch with your family and friends come December 25th on Disney+. With that being said, I'm giving Pixar Soul a 4.8 out of 5. I highly recommend you all give this a watch when it comes available on Disney+ come this holiday season. Now, I do believe this is free with the subscription of Disney+. I don't believe they're charging you $30 like they did Mulan, so definitely check it out with your family and friends. And when you do, let me know what you all thought of this film. As always, make sure to like, share, comment your thoughts below on this film, and also let me know your top 5 Pixars to date, and let's have a discussion about it. As always, subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any of my other reviews. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Hope you're staying safe, and we'll see you on the next video.